Welcome back, gang. It's LT from LT's Gaming, and we're doing Scalecaller's Peak Hard Mode. This thing is hard. So I'm going to explain the dungeon basically like you've never seen this encounter before. So the very first thing we have on the last boss is 2 additional adds. A Lemmiad on the right, we have the boss that's a green, and then we have another blue, a Frost Atronach. The things to know about this. Essentially what you're going to do is use the CC or stun mechanic to prevent your death at certain HP thresholds. So what these 2 adds are going to do is going to place something at the ground after you kill them, which is going to allow one of your characters to get in each of them, 4 in total, and then you're going to be able to survive. So you're going to have the laser beam running around, the Lammiad's going to have a red circle that lifts someone up, you're going to have a shield that only spawns during the poison gas phase, and then you're going to have the Frost Atronach that has a frost circle on the ground. So you're basically going to have 2 to 3 to 4 things on the ground at all time. If you take one, you're basically going to kill someone that is responsible for getting in this. Very similar to somewhat like Lord Warden and the portals in Lord Warden. So what I want you to get out of this is essentially clump the adds together, kill them at the same time, and they're going to spawn 2 separate things. There's going to be one laser running around, and the boss is going to spawn a shield that someone can hit a synergy, and this is what's going to save you. It's going to make you be CC'd, and as long as you don't break free, the gas is going to spray, you're going to survive. A lot to take in, so let's keep moving forward. So when I'm talking about gas, I want you to look in the back where these bosses are at 3 statues. 1, 2, 3. Awesome Microsoft Paint graphics here. But what this is going to do is essentially the later the fight goes, you're going to have a gas phase where there's going to be 3 sections of the room that are going to be divided. At random, poison is going to spawn. It will one-shot you and let you get out of it. When we did this a couple days after the dungeon's launch, it was bug and you really couldn't dodge roll out of it. You just had to basically sprint. So hopefully that's fixed, but in case it's not, try sprinting over dodge rolling. We had better success with it. Very, very hard because RNG is going to be a factor where this determines with another mechanic. But what you need to know that later on in this, there's going to be a tell, a very, very quick one, where one of the statues will light up, then the ground, then the poison will apply, and you will die. This is all about mobility, RNG, one of the hardest fights in the game, so stick with it. So at the beginning of the fight, I would suggest doing a really big burn with ultimates if you can, because you want to get those adds down. They snare, they have a little poison debuff. They're just a pain in the butt. So be aware of where your feet are when they die, as you can see the Lammiad right there. 1, 2, 3. 1 being the laser. This thing kind of moves around. It seems like it's not RNG, but it is. It'll kind of chase you around, so you have to be really, really mobile and kite it. Number 2 is going to be the frost. That's what you're going to kill from the frost guy. Now, this is going to move around as well, and it's a bigger area. The thing to know about the laser is that you have to kind of be on top of it for like 2 seconds or so. So it's not like instant, where the frost one is pretty much like 1 second, and then you're going to get stunned. So if you go over this in between, before the poison mechanic, someone's going to die. Number 3 is the Lammiad. So this is going to be a stationary one that's red, where as soon as you get in it, it's going to pop you up and stun you. So 3 things on the ground you have to be aware of at all times. The 4th thing will spawn during the poison gas phase. If you don't get in all of this, someone's going to die. You can recover from it though. So just understand this is what you're trying to do so you can all survive the poison gas phase. But before we get to poison gas phase, we have, yes, another mechanic. So this is kind of similar to another previous dungeon where it's basically going to track one person. The tell essentially is the red conal that the boss does, and the boss will like immediately look to someone at random. So it's not the tank, it's not a healer, it's totally random. What it's going to do is shoot out like fire waves similar to like the City of Ash dragon thing, but you can kind of get in between it and you can kind of stay mobile. The thing to do about this is don't panic. If you're on a magic build, Harness Magicka, you can eat at least one of these, but on a stand build, unless you have Bone Shield up, it's going to be really, really tough to survive this, so use your mobility to an advantage. If you're not one of the players that's targeted, continue to do your job, like damage or whatever. If you're the person being targeted, throw down Razor Caltrops, Elemental Blockade, whatever you can, and continue to do your job. It makes the fight much easier instead of just sitting there panicking. So the tell is the red conal, and it's going to immediately turn to someone. So Fang Rush is going to do a good job of kiting it, and you can see there's little fire lines. You can kind of go in between it, and if you eat one, you're not going to die. And after this is done, yes, another mechanic. Blue little lines in the ice the boss will go like blue, kind of icy, right? What this is going to do on hard mode is spawn 3 adds. Now, this is tough for 2 melee builds because you're going to be snared and the damage is going to progressively get larger and larger and larger. So sometimes your group might want to save ultimates for this specific thing if you're melee heavy like us, 2 stam melee builds. But what I like to do is go the very far one or put on some ranged attack because it makes it much, much easier. Or split up the DPS. However you do it, you're going to be able to need to react to this and kick these down fast because it progressively hits harder and eventually you're going to be snared 100% and die. So once you kill these 3 guys is when the poison mechanic comes into play, okay? So essentially all 4 of them are going to die and you need to get in one of your 4 things, whichever you designate to your group. You see we all get in them? Poison, that's a one-shot, it goes everywhere. You break free, you're good to go. Now, immediately after this, wherever the shield was placed, which is usually what we had our tank go to it, you hit a synergy if you're the shield person. That's what's going to save you from getting killed by the poison. The boss will go back to the shield, pick it up, and do a Dawn Breaker like in a 360 AoE area. So you want to avoid being in that area or stack the adds somewhat close to that area so you can AoE cleave it down, just do tons of damage, or kill the ads separately while the boss is kind of dinking around this. However your group decides it, just realize the boss will move back there. So you don't want to drop an ultimate away from the shield when the boss is just going to move there anyways. This looks like a whole lot of fun, doesn't it? Well, we're not done with mechanics yet. Of course, we got another one. So once you get up to a certain point, you're going to have the boss glowing really like a fire wave around him. A red circle that's going to kind of expand around him. 1, 2, 3, 4. What this is going to do is something similar, but not exactly like Lord Warden. It's basically going to tether someone using the Zon Helm. If you haven't seen it, it's a fire line. And what this does, the boss will actually stun. You can't do anything while you're tethered. You're going to take a lot of damage. It's going to pick someone at random. So as a magic build, I have Harness Magic on my bar. So if the tank gets tethered, I can run in front of it, pop Harness Magic, and then another build can come in there, take a second or 2 of it. I go back and forth. So it's just going to be a few seconds. It ramps up in damage, and you're going to have to defend against it. Bone Shield, Replenishing Barrier, Harness Magic, some way. But your biggest hell is where the head of the boss is facing. So it's obviously not number 4, me, because it's facing directly at EMAC. Let's see how we deal with it. So boss is going to pick ESO there, and our tank is going to be delayed for about a second to get in front of it, so I'm just going to breath spam like crazy. And as soon as he gets in front of it, we still need to do a lot of damage. And guess what? The poison mechanic now applies RNG. Sometimes this dungeon is buggy, RNG base, and you're screwed. Because as soon as the Zon mechanic gets over with, there's nothing that player can do. There's nothing ESO can do to react quickly and get out of it. It's just random. So hopefully this gets fixed, but if it's not, just realize you're going to have to recover from this mechanic and, beat the game. All right, so RNG is going to kill one of our guys. That's okay. As long as our tank's up and our healer's up, usually you can recover from this really, really easily. So my best advice to you is stand on the lines in between each. See, like that? So that way I can just basically move back and forth real quick. Looks like the tank lost aggro real quick. It's very, very hard, so you're going to get frustrated. Sometimes you're just going to die and make mistakes. It's okay. You're just battling RNG, and hopefully that gets fixed. So I'm going to take the little fire, or EMAC's going to take the fire. I'm going to throw spears, because if people are dying, remember to throw spears. They're going to need a lot of juice. But these are the mechanics. So you're just playing against the mechanics. You can recover from a death in this one, which is really nice. See, the fire mechanic comes. I use Harness Magic. Before our tank gets there, we recover. So you see the ice phase comes. So I'm going to go to the very far one since I'm a magic build, try to light it up, and then you see it takes a lot of damage the longer this goes. So I have to breath a couple times, get in our little shell, and you can see the Lamiad also bugged when this was going on for us. So it didn't even drop a red circle. Sick mechanics. That's okay. You can recover. Don't freak out, because that's why I muted the video, because I freaked out. So we get him down, the poison comes, and you can see where I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand in between somewhat 2 of them so I can sprint easily out of it. Dodge rolling is very, very difficult, and sprinting is much easier. So we're going to kill the Lamiad isolated away from the boss. You can see that phase comes where the Zon, our tank gets in front of it. Remember, poison's going to drop as soon as this is done, and we got lucky with the RNG. Frost guy's about down. If we can AoE cleave it, we want to do so. So you can see right here, I'm going to just kite this thing, just not panicking. I'm going to use Harness Magic, be a little liberal with it so I don't die. Poison comes, get lucky with the RNG, and get ready to get in your positions here pretty soon. And you can see the Lamiad thing is gone. So you're just going to have to deal with deaths, and hopefully when this releases on the consoles, you guys were watching this in the past, and this is fixed, and it's really easy. Ah, poison! Sprint. Okay, we're good. Now, you can see I'm saving my ultimate here just because the ice, it seems like it gets harder and harder and harder to deal with, the 3 ice adds. So I'm going to drop a Desti on it because last time we almost died. We didn't have enough damage, and we just basically died through this mechanic. So I'm going to breath like crazy, get my little ice thing. Of course, Fang Rush is going to die due to the game not dropping the red circle, and he's just going to chill here for a minute. So, adds back up. It's the exact same mechanics. So usually the tank will stand on that opposite side. I will stand right here. And see how the boss is turning towards ESO? Boom. ESO, breath, 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 breath. Remember, the damage ramps up. So the first couple times might be easy to breath through it, but you're really going to have to change out your person unless they're a tank. So that when a tank gets it, it's really nasty. Okay, so we got the boss low, and now it's just killing the adds, getting the boss down, going through these phases, not panicking, and standing right in between the two, because RNG will nuke you down with this. Okay, so we got him pretty low, so I'm just going to fully charge Resto here. We got one more ice thing, so I'm going to go far. Blockade, puncturing sweeps. I'm looking at them health bars in the top left. Come on, gang. Come on, breath. Come on, ice. Oh, I'm like so excited. No, don't go to the tanks one, Delta, you idiot. And I got lucky there, I'm not going to lie. So now, last one. I'm going to barrier. That way we can kind of go offensive and not worry about dying and recover, even if we have like our RG thing going on. Boss is going to Dawnbreaker. We got the fire poop going on. But we'll have so much AoE down on the ground there, it's just going to take so much damage. And Fangrush got RNG'd, but hey, what are you going to do? It only takes one time to beat this son of a gun, so keep at it. We spent a lot of time in here. This one was super hard the first week, very buggy. Hopefully you guys get better content than this. But yeah, once you get hard mode down, can't take it away from you. Keep working on it. Don't give up, and I hope this video helped you. Thanks for watching.